What's that?
They got them bullets in the background. Got that elk head back there. Hold on. All right, cool. Can you see me?
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Did you have a chance to look over some of those questions?
Yeah. I mean, I just don't have them in front of me.
Yeah, it's all good. You just gunsling. Nothing. You don't got to be anything pretty.
Yeah,
So
sure.
sound good.
Yep.
All right, Austin Krogan, your dad bod transformation specialist here with Jason Burns. Um, I've had the pleasure of working with him, known him for a long time as a good friend, and had the pleasure of working with him for now the last 4 months. Is that right?
Yep.
Yep. And yeah, so I just want to give everybody a awesome introduction to the man of the hour, the beast mode, the I love my wife, the legend. So yeah, Jason, go ahead and tell them about like where you live and what it is you do for just a living, to give people some context of uh, just how the process of what it's like in a life of a client.
Sure. So I live in really small town, Iowa, southeast part of the state, small town called La Villa. We're about 6 miles west of town, just kind of out in the middle of nowhere, trying to live as self-sustainable lifestyle as we possibly can. Not a lot of resources around us, so we just typically try to use what we have. We own about 10 acres out here, so it's just peaceful, it's quiet. Everybody, we refer to it as God's country. So that's kind of where we're at.
Love it. Uh, that's great. Uh, what was where were you when you started working with me? What was the step, the milestone? Like where were you at with your body, within your decision and your process? Like what were you doing in that process as well? Like what did what did your thought process of healthy and uh, all that stuff. Like where was healthy and what you thought was supposed to work, and um, where were you at with your weight and your body composition and so forth.
So where I was at for the longest period of time was just that I wasn't really focused on health, exercise, eating the right foods. I just knew that as time was going by, I was just slowly, gradually putting on more weight. But it wasn't to the point necessarily to where it was bothering me. Um, I ended up, going in, and I happened to see my doctor a few times for a few things. And I noticed over, a few visits that, my weight was just higher than it's ever been. I was actually all the way up to 256 pounds.
Mm.
And it just really hit home for me. And I started to, I guess, just reevaluate my thinking and where I was at with my life. And I just started realizing that, I'm fatigued a lot, I'm tired a lot. And I just got to the point to where I didn't want to be lazy anymore. And I wanted to start making the necessary changes. I didn't want to just dive face first into it and be all in. I wanted to just gradually get back into it. As far as health and exercise, I feel like I am pretty familiar with, weight training and things like that. But when it comes to the diet aspect, that was just something I was not very well educated on. And like you had mentioned, we've known each other for several years, and I've followed you and your story. And so, I mean, it was just a no brainer that I wanted to reach out to you for support, for guidance, to become more educated on nutrition and the value of nutrition and what it can do for your body. I know that diet is, 70-80% of the battle. And before, going out and working out in a gym for 2 hours at a time, lifting heavy weights, I could get by with that. But at 40 years old today, it's a lot more difficult. And I knew that I had to implement the diet aspect into my everyday lifestyle. And I mean, like I said, it was just a no brainer. I know your passion and your story and where you came from. And you were just the number one name that came to my mind as far as who I wanted to team up with that could get me to start attaining these goals, long-term sustainable goals.
Yeah, I love that. And what was what where would you say like your knowledge and just understanding of your foods, what to eat and when to eat it, and how that's helped you since uh from where you were before.
Yes, now I understand, the importance of intermittent fasting. I understand, what it does for my body. Um, I also understand the difference, macros. I understand, how many carbs to put in my body, how many grams of protein to put in my body, how many grams of fat to put into my body. I've just, and I still have a lot to learn, but I've gained a much better perspective, what good fats are, what bad fats are, and just how to balance how much protein, carbohydrates, and quality fats that I'm putting into my body in a daily basis, so that what I am consuming is more so fuel as opposed to just fat that's getting stored away and
Mm-hmm.
putting more and more weight on.
Yeah. Um, I've seen definitely a drastic change in how you're implementing things. It's you've never been a handheld type of guy. You've just like you always go full blown with things, and you've been a an attack list type of guy. But
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely noticed you pivot a lot. You're easily coachable, and again, I think the biggest thing is well to add and piggyback onto that is um, you ask a lot of questions, so I think that's helped you. But it's definitely been the process has been a lot. You've never been a handhelding guy, but it's been a less like even holding the pinky, you
Yeah.
know, or handhelding or whatever you want to call it. But it's been less of that, and you've almost
Sure.
gained this horizon of like, oh yeah, like I know how to add this and put this with this, and now you're just sending me all these new things you're trying and recipes, and you're just going full blown with it. So it's super great to see, and it's inspiring even to me as a coach, and just seeing you like have this passion and urge to really make this a lifestyle rather than a just an every now and again routine.
Yep.
So what was there any skepticism of like, were you skeptical about anything? Obviously, like, oh, known Austin for a long time. Hey, Austin was the go-to guy. But was there any like skeptical, like, man, like, is this something I could like? Was there anything skeptical that you were like, is this gonna stop me? What's gonna stop me from getting started? Or am I can can I really do this? Can I fully commit? Am I gonna let myself down? Or can I afford it? Or can I? And is anything in that nature? Has that did anything stop you from like giving you any fear? Does that make sense?
Yep. So I don't think there was anything in particular that really was holding me back. Like I said before, I was okay with just no exercise, eating what I wanted. I just reached a point in my life where I didn't want that anymore. And typically, I'm pretty black and white, and I don't really waver. And once I realized that I wanted to make the change, I was fully committed. Um, I'm well aware of the work that goes into it, but more so, what I've learned more than anything is knowledge is very powerful when it comes to the nutrition aspect of it. In the beginning, it was a lot of salads, with just any and everything that I could possibly think of to put in it. And then at night, it was an omelet with some more spinach and maybe some kind of protein, and it was just repetitive. But I'm also kind of fortunate that I come from a little bit of a culinary background. I enjoy food. I enjoy
Yeah.
thinking outside the box. And if you're open minded and you allow yourself to, broaden your horizon and become more educated, you get a better understanding of how you can really make food not just enjoyable but fun. I mean, it's even our kids, my wife, kids, I've cooked some things that they're on the fence about, but I've also cooked some things that they really enjoy. And that's probably one of the biggest things for me is I've had fun with it. And I have my cheat meals, and I do bend a little bit here and there, but I definitely don't break. You can have a really, really good cheat meal that actually works really, really well for your body if it's just well thought out and you plan for it accordingly.
I love that. I want everybody to that's listening in on this that you have Jason, who's a man who works a full-time job, just like everybody does. Works a full-time job. Has 10 acres of land, so I'm sure there's a lot of upkeep there. He's busy. He's a father. He's a husband. So he goes through all the same struggles and excuses that he can make to not do this. And a lot of what he's done so far has just been through the nutritional aspect of it. Now we're kind of implementing more of the resistance side of things. So just to even see the diet, what the diet's done with him. But there's key words he's saying here. Making it fun. He's got he's leading by example as a leader in his household of implementing some of these healthy things that he's trying to make fun, and they may not always like it, but praise the effort and not the result. So it's great to see that he's showing these things and he's implementing these things not only in his life and in his workplace and trying to be disciplined, but he's doing it within his family. Um, so that's super great to hear. And in this transition and in this journey, what's been some of the impact and results? Like, what specific results have you achieved, and what results have been the most you've been the most surprised about?
I guess probably, one of besides losing, I think we've closed in here recently on right at 40 pounds lost. The weight coming off and things like that. I think what I'm probably most surprised about is just knowing that you could, or that I can live a sustainable life with a diet that is sustainable long term and still enjoy these foods and maintaining good quality health. I would say that was probably the one thing I'm most surprised about. And then on top of it, like you said, I've done very, very minimal exercise so far. It's just been the the big part of this has just been getting a grasp on diet and nutrition and how to get foods to work for me as fuel. So yeah, that's definitely been
Mm.
probably the most surprising aspect of all of it.
That's great to
I,
hear. Yeah. So I love that. And you're saying, key words again, enjoying cheat meals and, uh, being able to be flexible and bend a little bit and, being down this weight you've got down. We do our body pivot weekly check-ins every Wednesday. And, it's really important when we use the scale we use because it allows us to give us a metric, because what gets measured gets managed. So when we show up to these calls, it could be one thing for him to just lose the amount of weight he's lost, which is a lot. And we could sit there and go, oh, he lost a lot.
I lost your sound.
And so, yeah, it's just really important to have that metric of just, knowing where we're at and where we're going, and that it's not just all noise, and just like, oh, we're just dropping weight, but we have something that's measurable for us to go, okay, awesome. So this is working. Your body's responding well. Okay, next steps. That's super great. I love hearing that. So, what's what's some piece of advice that helped you most when we got started, and through this process? I guess what's been the most helpful bits of pieces that you think could really provide people value?
Like as far as what you've helped me with.
Yeah, yeah,
So, again, kind of going back to just the simple fact that I know you, I know who you are. Um, what I would tell, a person that's considering, going down this kind of journey, if they were to choose to work with you, what they can expect is just a lot of positivity, um, a lot of passion, a lot of, just love. I mean, it becomes more than just, trying to lose weight. I mean, you develop like there's a brotherhood aspect of it that comes along with it all, and a great bond and a friendship, and just what I admire about Austin, that is he's always just willing to just answer the little questions, even though sometimes I might ask multiple different questions just because I'm trying to figure out little tiny things. He's always willing to take the time, and he's not just willing to take the time, but he sets aside time every single week to devote, to helping individuals like myself. And that's just what I love about the process is the passion, the encouragement. It never ends. And sometimes, I mean, if Austin, you would wonder if the guy ever has a bad day, because he's always got a contagious smile on his face. He's always laughing, always having fun. And that's just one of the reasons why, I knew Austin was the guy I needed in my corner during this journey.
Well, hey, I appreciate that, bro. And no, I didn't pay him to say that. Hey, thanks, dude. I appreciate that. That's great. Who would you recommend this for? The coaching, the programming. Who would you recommend this for if they're feeling a little on the fence, or they're feeling where, like, what's my next steps? Is this the way to go? Is this for me? Who would this specifically be for? If you could sum that up.
If you want me to be completely honest, this is for anybody. It don't matter if you're mid-20s, mid-30s, 50 years, 60 years, a dad, just a husband, whatever. If you are contemplating whether or not, you're where you want to be from a health standpoint in your life right now, or maybe you're thinking about wanting to make changes, or maybe you're wanting to learn different ways to exercise and get in shape, or learn different ways to add nutrition to your lifestyle, just reach out, talk to Austin about it, find out exactly, I feel like each plan and each person comes with its own, customized program. Everyone's not the same. Everyone's body is different. Everyone's goals are different. And you don't have to be, under the impression that you have to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, going into this. This is for everybody, right. Male or female. It's for everyone. If you just want to change maybe your lifestyle, maybe you want to develop good habits with you and your wife, or your family as a whole, different things you can implement, this is for you. I don't really think that it's not for any particular person. I think this is something very good for anyone.
Love it. I love it. That's great. What is what for you? What's we started at 256,
Yep.
and we're now at 256 pounds. We're now at 215 pounds.
Yep.
Yep. And then body fat, I think we've dropped 8%. Is that right?
Yeah. Somewhere around
7%,
there.
7%, 8%.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna make sure that this is like, it's gonna be in the video as well. But yeah, I just it's so awesome to see how far Jason has come. And he's an individual that takes a lot of action. He shows up to every single call every single week. And if you're wondering, hey, if I what how do I get the results Jason gets? Watching some of my highest caliber clients is, one, they ask a lot of questions. Two, they show up to every single call. Three, they implement. And I think that's super important. And he said, knowledge is power. And one thing I'd say to that is knowledge is power. I'm going to hit you with a liner here. Do you ever think that maybe you have the wrong knowledge that has power over you? So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, so people just for words of encouragement that, if you can, information, application, experience, and course correction. Those are my 4 key components of having a successful transformation. Now, he got the information, he applied it, right? And then he got the experience, which was from the check-ins, and then we course corrected. He was super fast to pivot. He always came with questions, and he tackled it as fast as he could. And when there was faults of his, whether he messed up or fell down, he made sure to bring it up right away. He didn't run from me, he ran to me. And I think that's really important when you want to have a successful transformation, is when you can be like Jason and not make excuses and just do the best you can when you show up, and then when you don't show up, to admit your faults. So,
Sure.
yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure, Jason, getting on this call with you. And if you want results just like Jason, just go ahead and give me a direct message. You can find me on Facebook at Austin Krogan. You can find me on my Instagram at Austin Krogan Fit Pro. Just go ahead and give me a direct message if you're interested and you're on the fence. I would love to just have a simple conversation with you, and we can book a call, go through our little one-on-one strategy call, and see if this is the right fit for you, and to get you moving in the right direction to transform your dad bod and get in the best shape of your life. So Jason, it's been a pleasure, and look forward to the next phase.
Absolutely. Appreciate you having me.